Welcome everybody to this week's SAS Diary. Today I have so many cool stuff to show you. I am very excited. Through the development period of our game, we have been using lots of placeholders, which, as its name implies, holds the place of the final thing. One of them was the Sarhul Scout. If you have played the game before, you might remember this enemy. He looks like a regular Sarhul holding a bow or a sword, but that model was actually a Sarhul warrior. This is the real Sarhul Scout, and as you can see, he looks very different. Next to a Sarhul warrior, he looks slender, which makes him look weaker in comparison. This is true since the Scout is the weakest Sarhul unit in the game. For me, it's great to see how varied the Sarhul race can look. From the thin, nimble Scouts, the tough, muscled warriors, the tall and estelized mages, and the chunky yet funky seers. Other new updates that have been done to the game are improvements on these spells, especially when it comes to feedback for the player to make them understand a spell better. The Wind Bullet is a spell that you create when you enhance an object with wind magic. It's a very strong shot that travels very fast with a really high force. The problem with it is that it was hard to really see if it hit where you wanted to. That's why we added a trail to it. Not only looks cooler, but it's also functional. Same here with the Essence Soul Protection spell. The spell protects you for a given time from harm. The problem with the previous effect is that you had souls flying around you and it was really hard to see how many souls were left and if they were still protecting you. Now we have added a dome, which's brightness displays the time left on the spell. As it starts dimming, you will know that the protection is about to go away. In the game, you will go into several ancient and mysterious temples. These temples hold unknown secrets to the denizens of Noshrek. As you explore these mystical places, you will find tablets with ancient scripture and writings on the walls. Many people will think it's decoration, which is alright, but it's an actual language called Noshscript. They tell a background story that is not directly told in the main story, so if you are interested in knowing more about the lore and what's going on in the world of Noshrek, maybe take your time to figure them out. We have some collectibles to help you with that. Finally comes the best part. Noshrek is alive! We have started giving more life to the characters in our game, through newly added talking animations and also voice acting. Last week, we finally got to record the English voices of our game. We had some pretty great talent behind it. As you know, we are a distributed team spread all over the world. So while the recording were being done in LA, we were on the conference call hearing everything and giving direction and guidance through Skype. Today I'm going to show you a little bit of two of our voice actors, Dave B. Mitchell and Liam O'Brien. Dave B. Mitchell is known to be the voice of characters in recent games like Ash in Alien Isolation, Sigma Kent in Bravely Default, and the Judge in Phoenix Bright. In our game, he's the voice of Noldrick, the human son of Nor who betrays its own people. Here, you can hear us guiding David for the role.
Hey Chris, is what is down here a really great, wonderful thing or a horrible, awful thing?
It's an unknown thing, actually.
By Nor, what in the world is that?
And here you can hear and see the final implementation.
By Nor, what in the world is that? Why didn't we know this was down here?
It's very interesting to hear these very talented actors. Besides the human mage, Dave is also the voice of our Sarhul Archmage. And our Sarhul Exile too.
My shield and sword should have a similar color to my armor. Please, help me find them.
Now, let's listen to Liam O'Brien. You may know him as the voice of Gollum in The Shadow of Mordor, Philip in D4, Dark's Dream Don't Die, and Gaara in Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. But in our game, he's the shrouded figure. Let's listen to him talking to Dave B. Mitchell once again in this sequence of the game.
The path is blocked. We need to find another way.
You forget who you are dealing with.
By Nor, what in the world is that? Why didn't we know this was down here?
There is a lot you humans do not know. You think the world revolves around you. Allow me to widen your horizon. The Harastes and Ithari were not the first races to walk this earth. Sarahul and humans will not be the last.
He also provided some voice acting for some NPCs in town.
I guess you don't mind if I take my corn back. What's wrong with you?
I keep the town guards busy. There's always something to do. I bet you also have something to do right now.
And he is the narrator of our intro cinematic. Here's a very short sneak peek.
According to human beliefs, humans and Sarahul were created by the gods, Nor and Lure.
Before I go, I want to thank ArcadeMe for inviting me to talk about working in game development. As some of you may know, I live in Ecuador, where the game industry doesn't exist. So hopefully my talk was helpful to others to start doing something too, and eventually start an industry here. If you are a Son of Nor Kickstarter backer, you may have received an email with a survey. Please be sure to fill it, since we ask things like the name you want to have in the credits, the tombstones, or the Wall of Heroes. This survey has a deadline, so be sure to do it before it's too late. Hope you like this Dev Diary. Have a nice weekend and happy gaming!